Here's why your past relationships have not worked, what you can do differently next time. And I'm going to reveal my roadmap for how to get into the relationship of your dreams, a relationship that lasts. You will definitely want to stick around for this video. My name is Katie Wang. I'm a dating and relationship coach. And when I went back and looked at the 12 most significant relationships of my life, I noticed patterns, common patterns of what made those relationships work and also ultimately what made those relationships fail. Now, you will want to watch this video to understand yourself better, to really understand what makes you attracted to certain types of men and not others, and also how to decode his feelings for you, especially if you find men are interested in the beginning and then later on they lose their interest. And you will want to watch until the very end to get a free gift from me. Okay, let's get into it. First, let's talk about building blocks of relationships. We're going to talk about the fundamentals of relationship building. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship you have. You could be a hookup. It could be a one-night stand. You have maybe only gone on 3 dates with a guy. Maybe it's just a casual fling, a situationship. Maybe you are in a committed relationship. Maybe you are married. All different types of relationships here apply. All of these relationships are made up of 3 building blocks, and I call these the 3 pillars of attraction. Pillar number 1 is the physical attraction. This is 2D. Someone's physical appearance on paper, from a distance, on a webcam. They have the look that we prefer. Everybody has a certain type, a certain look type that they like. Okay, maybe you like tall guys. Maybe you like more bulky guys. Maybe you like guys with dark hair, blonde hair, right? We all have like a looks preference. If you meet a man that falls within your looks preference, you're going to be automatically attracted to him. Pillar number 2 is chemistry. This is 3D. It is interactive. This is someone's vibe, how it feels to be around them. There are some people who are very charismatic, really magnetic, and you just feel good when you're around them. You can't take your eyes off them. You can't stop thinking about them, even though, you met them yesterday, right? There's some people that have that vibe about them that makes you drawn to them. I call this chemistry. Pillar number 3 is emotional intimacy. This is 4D. It's the depth of the connection. This is when someone feels like they're our best friend. When we're so comfortable around them, we can reveal all of ourselves. We feel accepted. We feel loved no matter how we show up. They have our back. We're just comfortable around that person. We're comfortable being in silence with that person. That is the emotional intimacy you feel with someone. Now, you need all 3 for a relationship to last. Romantic relationships, that is. If you miss one of these pillars, then eventually it's going to collapse, okay? So let's get into this. If you have physical attraction and chemistry, you have a great hookup. You have a great fling. This is the guy that makes you feel amazing, that's super hot and steamy in the beginning, and it also dies really quickly in a few short weeks or a few short months. So the lifespan of this relationship will be less than 3 months, 3 months or less. If you have physical attraction and emotional intimacy, then you've got a relationship that looks good on paper, that works in theory, and yet you're not that attracted to him. You don't feel a lot of desire for him. So that kind of relationship will typically last between 3 months to 2 years. Now, if you have chemistry and emotional intimacy, then you've got a relationship that, quite frankly, could cruise along for a very, very long time. You could even be married to this person. And a lot of people do marry this person because, typically we want to marry our best friend. And if there's chemistry can lift up, make you more physically attracted to that person as well. Okay, so you can kind of get by with that for actually a very, very long time. So a relationship like that will typically last between 2 to 7 years. 7 years is when most start to fall apart. All right. And the relationship that lasts, that stands the test of time, will have all 3 of these attraction pillars. If you lack one of these pillars, if you're missing one of them, that will start to drag down your overall attraction for your partner. And in time, that starts to become less and less and less. So the less attracted you are, the less attracted you'll be, the less attracted you'll be. So that just eventually starts to drag everything down. And that is why I say you need all three, because that gives you the highest chance for it working out long term. Because even if one of these starts to dip, it gives you time to work on it because you still got the other two to prop you up, to keep you motivated, to give you a reason to stay and work on the relationship. If you're always missing one, first of all, you're probably more likely to want to seek for that outside the relationship, because if you've always missed one, you know that's never going to be solved within the relationship. So more likely you're going to have a wandering eye and start to look outside a relationship to fill that gap. The good news is we have a great amount of control over all three of these attraction pillars. So in terms of physical attraction, we can drastically change the way we look by how we do our hair, do our makeup. We can exercise, we can lose weight, we can get more fit. There's so many things you can do to change the way you look to become more attractive, physically attractive to men. Chemistry. There are courses that you can take, things you can do to increase your level of magnetism, your vibe, your charisma. And it's like being in your feminine energy, not chasing men, learning how to flirt better, being more confident around men. Being happy, right? Being comfortable in your own skin, being a little bit mysterious, talking less, listening more, having more presence in the conversation. There's so many things you can do to increase chemistry. Emotional intimacy, this one is built over time. This is trust built over time, and it relies on consistency and reliability. Okay, we want to feel like we can really rely on this person, that they have our back. And that is what emotional intimacy is built on. If you can't trust them, then you don't have that solid foundation. You will always be on edge. You won't feel comfortable around them. And therefore you can't communicate openly, honestly. And then it starts to create bigger and bigger cracks later on down the road. And now you can definitely control this too by being consistent yourself, by communicating openly, honestly, by telling men what you like, what you don't like, being open, being vulnerable. All these things help deepen your connection. Out of the three, emotional intimacy is the most important one out of all three of them. Okay, it is the heart of the game. And it is what keeps the relationship sustainable over a long period of time, right? You got to like the person you're with. You have to feel like they're your friend, because the other two can wane, right? The chemistry can wane depending on your mood, your energy level, sometimes low. Your physical appearance can change over time. Put on a little bit of weight, you lose weight, you go to the gym more, you stop going to the gym, that can change, okay? So that is why emotional intimacy is the rock that keeps that relationship strong through all the ebbs and flows of life. Now I want to give you some tips on how you can use this information in your dating adventure and in your next relationship. Tip number one is you want to be patient. Attraction in all three pillars needs time to develop. It's like planting a seed on the ground and waiting for it to blossom into a flower, into a tree, into an orchard. It takes time. A rising tide lifts all boats. If you have one of them, one of the pillars, then that one pillar can actually lift up the others. Okay, if we have a little bit of emotional connection with a man, if we gave that man more of a chance, over time, the physical attraction, the chemistry could develop. So you got to be patient. The truth is, a lot of women are not attracted to most men. There was a study done by one of the online dating sites. For women, they only rated 20% of men as average or above average in looks. And men rated 60% of women as average or above average. It's clear from this statistic and from my personal experience, most women think 80% of men are ugly, basically. Right, we're very hard on men. Most women do not find most men attractive, all right? And that's because your brain is relying on old programming to draw from what is attractive to us. It's like if you've only ever eaten mac and cheese your entire life, right? You will only have a preference for mac and cheese. If you're not attracted to a lot of men, you need to taste test other types. You need to at least give more men a shot, even the men that you don't typically go for, because you never know, as you spend more time with them, that might increase your level of attraction. You just need one pillar to be there to eventually lift up the other pillars. Tip number 2 is chemistry is the most potent of the 3, and it can blindside you to the facts. If you have strong chemistry with a man and every time you're with him, you're feeling the butterflies, you're feeling that spark, that electricity when you're around him, you need a protocol to stay grounded to reality. When you feel chemistry, it alters your brain chemicals. You will actually perceive there is emotional connection, there is emotional intimacy, even when there isn't one. Okay, this is where we can get caught in thinking, oh, he is the one. We have so much in common. He's like my best friend, even though I've only been on one date with him. Right? Because that is actually your brain chemistry influencing how you're perceiving him. It's tricking you to think you have a deeper level of a connection than you actually have. So you want to have a protocol you follow that just keeps you grounded to reality so you don't get too far ahead of yourself and kind of like fall in love with this fantasy idea of him rather than sticking to the facts of who he is. And the third tip is don't settle for just physical attraction and emotional intimacy alone. So if you are with someone and he looks good on paper and he's like your best friend, you get along so well, he treats you really well, your friends, your family, your own brain will want to convince you that you are making the right decision by staying with him. But there's a part of you that feels something is missing. That desire is missing. The sexual desire is missing in your relationship. If that's the case, please, please, please do not settle for this guy. It's going to end in tears for both of you if you do. Men are just like women. They deeply want to be wanted and desired. Right? A lot of men go their entire life never hearing a compliment about their body, about their sexuality, anything like that. It's very sad, actually. So even though he's like your best friend, he treats you so well and such a good person, if you don't feel that desire for him naturally, if if it's just not there and you can't force yourself to have that there, then do yourself both a favor and let him go. Be friends with him instead. Now, the best news is I have created a roadmap for your first 90 days dating someone, a checklist of what you should pay attention to decode how you really feel towards a man, what your levels of attraction is, and where to do next, as well as how to decode his feelings for you and how to build towards a passionate and healthy relationship. All right. And you want to check that out because you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste your time and you don't want to waste his time. So you want to check that out in the link in my description. And that is completely free as my gift to you. That's all from me in this video. If you like this content, if you like videos like this, please like me, subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with more next time. Also, if you have a question about any of this, drop that in the comments below and I'll also get back to you there. All right, that's all from me. I'll talk to you next time.